turbo vehicles made after 2020. Are they garbage? Here's the irony. This is my turbo car. It's a 2015. I bought it in 2018 with 35,000 miles on it, and this car has been pretty good. No problems yet, and I expected this car to be junk. The universe provided. We're going to talk about Nissan Versas here later. It's always been my philosophy that there's no such thing as a bad car anymore. Every new car should last 10 years or 100,000 miles. That's just how things are built. And that's why I'm using a Nissan Versa as an example. This was considered the worst new vehicle at the time. And it was just considered the worst because there's things that are fancier, better looking, better riding. But this was it. This was considered the worst. And when you look at Nissan Versas on sale on Facebook Marketplace, there's a bunch of them. 189,000 miles, 2009. That's the one that was in the video game. He has the turbo engine with the dual clutch and 23,000 miles, failed transmission already. So yeah, I'm seeing a bunch of new vehicles that are just not lasting. Vehicles made after 2020. We look back at those Nissan Versas. They have well over 100,000 miles, and those were considered the worst vehicles in the 2010s, and they're lasting. And my girlfriend bought a brand new Buick Encore in 2021, standard warranty on it, 3 years or 36,000 miles. She currently has 30,000 miles on it, and it's 3 months away from warranty, an expiring warranty, so it's getting close. She got a check engine light for the turbo, and I told her if it has a bad turbo, you might want to consider getting rid of it. She took it to the dealer. It has a bad turbo, needs a turbo replacement. Thankfully, it's going to be under warranty. So I told her this, okay, you got almost 3 years out of it with no problems, problem-free. That's why she bought a new car. She didn't want any car repairs. And I told her, okay, 3 years, almost 3 years, 30,000 miles. So let's say, okay, you're going to get a new turbo. Let's say you hold on to it, and in 3 years or another 30,000 miles, it needs a new turbo again. That's $2,000. And it's still not buying a new car, but I think it's very poor, very unacceptable, disappointing that it needs a new turbo already after 30,000 miles in less than 3 years. So looking at Buick Encores for sale, check it out, 10,000 miles on this one, 11,000 miles on that one, 12,000 miles. Let's look at a couple more. I think it's a very nice looking vehicle, very classy looking. This is the corporate twin to the Chevrolet Trax. 24,000 miles on this one. So are these people unloading these because they're having a check engine lights for the turbo? Forza 3 on Xbox 360. Check it out. It has a Nissan Versa. My girlfriend bought something brand new because she wanted something reliable, something that's not going to have a repair bill for a long time. And that's the appeal of a new vehicle for a lot of people. And I've always had that thought. It's always been my philosophy that there's no such thing as a bad car anymore. Every new car should last 10 years or 100,000 miles. That's just how things are built. And that's why I'm using a Nissan Versa as an example. This was considered the worst new vehicle at the time. And it was just considered the worst because there's things that are fancier, better looking, better riding. But this was it. This was considered the worst. And when you look at Nissan Versas on sale on Facebook Marketplace, there's a bunch of them. 189,000 miles, 2009. That's the one that was in the video game. 2015s, 2014s. So this 2009 is the oldest one. Let's see if we could find a couple more old ones. There you go. Another 2009. 2012, all with over 100,000 miles. My girlfriend's Buick is not even close to 30 or 100,000 miles. It only has 30,000 miles. That's really, really disappointing. Like I said, I always felt like there's no such thing as a bad car anymore, but I guess I was wrong. And I can't believe like that vehicles are breaking down this soon. I have one of these. I'll share it more later. But when I bought it, I said I'm buying a Fiat. I don't expect it to last as long as a Corolla. I'll take good care of it and hopefully it lasts a long time. So check out how many miles this one has. 160,000 miles. And these aren't considered the most reliable, longest lasting cars. And this one just ran circles around my girlfriend's Buick. When my girlfriend bought her Buick, her budget for a new vehicle was under $30,000. So I've been doing research for her on vehicles under $30,000 if she does decide to trade in her Buick. And I told her to consider the Hyundai Santa Fe. It's bigger than the Buick and it has a 10-year 100,000 mile warranty, so a really long warranty. That 3-year 36,000 mile warranty went by fast. So doing research on the Hyundais, you could get some Santa Cruzes for like 40,000 and above. This one's nearly $40,000. 2.5 turbo engine making almost 300 horsepower with a dual clutch transmission. And I'm asking myself, why does a Hyundai Santa Fe need a dual clutch transmission? It's not a Nissan GTR. So when you look at the cheaper models, it has a normally aspirated, no turbo, 2.5 4-cylinder. That's what I told her to do. Don't get a engine with a turbo on it. So many vehicles have turbos now, and I've seen so many reports on failures. And this has a normal transmission, 8-speed automatic. I was gonna say 6. I'm not crazy about the 8 speeds, but it is a normal transmission, not a CVT. So I told her to maybe consider one of these. I've been doing a lot of research on these Hyundai Santa Cruzes, and I do like it a lot. I even told my girlfriend, let's go out one day and just take a look at them. You might like it, and if she ends up getting one, I'll make a bunch of videos about it. But like I said, I told her, don't get the turbo engine, get the one with a normal automatic transmission. You don't need a turbo with a dual clutch. And here's one of the channels I was watching when doing research on these. He has the turbo engine with a dual clutch and 23,000 miles failed transmission already. So yeah, I'm seeing a bunch of new vehicles that are just not lasting. Vehicles made after 2020. We look back at those Nissan Versas. They have well over 100,000 miles, and those were considered the worst vehicles in the 2010s, and they're lasting. And in this case, we have dual clutch transmissions failing at 23,000 miles, and my girlfriend's Buick's turbo failing at 30,000 miles. And then here I am with the Fiat, and it's been fine. I'm going to share it with you guys right now. And here's a tip. If you have a turbo car and if you're not sure if the coolant circulates after turning it off, I'm going to share that about my Fiat here in a second. But if your turbo doesn't circulate coolant after turning it off, don't shut your motor off right away if you have a turbo car. Let it idle for 30 seconds to a minute before you shut it off. And then when you're starting in the morning, let it idle for a minute before, or let it idle for a minute before before you get started, before you get driving, and shut it off after a minute if you're not sure about the coolant circulation. My girlfriend got a great deal on that Buick, $25,000 all-wheel drive, and even though it's an entry-level SUV, felt luxurious, very high quality, except for that crappy turbo. But when you're looking at vehicles, $20,000 to $30,000, there's not many choices, especially without a turbo. Toyota still makes a NA 4-cylinder, just over $30,000 for this RAV4. But looking at it, I see the little details. I mean, at the end of the day, $30,000 is still a lot of money. And hubcaps. See, my girlfriend's Buick has rims. That Hyundai has rims, so yeah, Toyota has the reputation, but man, it's like they're purposely making it very base model feeling. So another vehicle that's in the $30,000 range. Honda CRV, but I don't like that turbo engine. And if you go more expensive, you could get a hybrid two motor engine, but that's 37,000. Here's how out of hand it's getting with turbos. Here's the new 2024 Tacoma base model turbo, TRD off-road turbo, top of the line TRD Pro, 4-cylinder turbo. What do all of these cost? So the base model 39, TRD off-road 42, TRD Pro $63,000. Here's my upload from a couple of days ago. Cool cars you could collect for not much money. And I got this comment right here. Hold on to your 2011 CRV. Only 70,000 miles on it. Hold on to it. It'll last you a long time. Turbo car, boost gauge. I'm going to show you a really good feature on this car. Hopefully you could hear the buzzing. This car has a great feature. When you turn it off, it'll pump coolant towards the turbo for about a minute with the engine turned off. See, there's a water line right there, and that's the turbo. So after turning the car off, the turbo will be cooled down for a minute after the engine's off. That's a nice feature because turbos get really hot, and that's what this is right here. So the paint on the hood doesn't peel off. This is protection from the heat of the turbo. I bought this with the intention of having a fun, fuel efficient car to take to work, to run errands in. I put 22 or 23,000 miles on it since I've gotten it in 2018. Never expected it to last as long as a Toyota Corolla. Still has fairly low miles on it, but for the most part it's been trouble free. Just oil changes and a new set of tires since I've gotten it.